Hey, yo! If you're struggling to catch bass this winter, this is how you change up your retrieve to catch more winter bass. This fall to winter transition is like the most difficult part of the year to go fishing because that fall bite can be so hot. And then once it gets kind of colder and colder, that bite starts to get harder and harder and almost shut off. However, those bass are still there. A lot of the times, what I've learned in my own fishing is that our action that we're giving to our baits, the speed that we're moving them at, is actually scaring away the bass. And when I was in Korea, what I was taught when we get to the winter, it's all about shaking that thing. So here are the baits you can do that with. If you really want to catch winter bass, you're not really worried about the size, right? We just need to feel that tug. Then we want to go to smaller baits. So like a 4-inch robo worm is a great option. I really like things that have not a lot of action. So like the Depths Bullflat, the small one, is one of my favorite baits to use. And this is a little bit of a harder find. This is the Issei Spatula. This is a really great, super finesse option for like light spinning gear, but it has a nice meteor tail. Zoom makes the meathead that's similar to this. This little meteor tail gives it a nice fluid movement when you're shaking this worm. And also a finesse jig, something that has a lightly tight skirt. This is a heavier one, but something that even a lighter jig like this with a smaller compact hook that you could put a smaller trailer on, something like a Zoom twin tail grub, or even the bull flat's a great option here. This is the rig that I got set up on my rod right now. This is a 12-pound test fluorocarbon line, and I'm fishing a Robo Ned worm, a 3-inch size, with a 2/0 hook to a 1/4 ounce drop shot sinker on a free rig. And this is a really great way to shake these baits, or even just a Texas rig. So here's me casting out, right? And when I cast out, I want to keep a little bit of slack in my line. As you see, my line's not tight right now. And when we're shaking this worm, I want to barely be shaking the slack. I don't want to shake the worm. Think about just taking the slack out of your line and then letting it go quickly. And you don't want this thing to be hopping. You don't want this thing to be swimming. Just as light shakes of our slack in the water will translate to a lot more of a lighter movement. And that's the kind of shaking that we're looking for in the winter. This light shaking is enough movement for the bass to see it, because not a lot of things in this cold water are going to be moving. And we could be shaking this bait in place for minutes, right? Like a minute to 5, just shaking it in place. Now here's the secret of knowing when you got to bite. Yes, it's important to have a really sensitive rod, and light line helps us that. But a lot of the time, you'll see a lot of the Asian anglers, what we do is you'll see us holding our line like this. You'll see us pull that slack with our finger, and we'll be holding our line like this. Now what that does is that if a bass bites this, they're literally going to come and just lightly pick it up and then swim off with it. But to feel that bass slowly pulling that line with us. So if that bass starts swimming away with it, just let your hand slowly collapse with it. Let it take that line so that you give it enough time for the bass to really get that hook in the mouth. And once you're out of slack, then you make sure you're tight and then you set the hook on it. So what are you waiting for? Get out there.